What I'm trying to say to you is this, is that your Uncle Bae Bae, look, he's my father, man. Yes, Uncle Bae Bae is my father. You know? Like, we share the same DNA.
Seems like you his daddy.
What? Yeah, Uncle Bae Bae is my father.
Everybody's gotta go through some ups and downs, joys and pains. We'll prove that if you're built for this, time will tell if it's the family that breaks will be the family that stays. No matter what comes our way, we are Daddy's boys, always here for you. Daddy's boys, we're gonna see you through. Daddy's boys, the thick and nothing. We're fighting hard for the win. Fighting hard for the win. We are Daddy's boys.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me you got a whole son out here? Not a New York son, but a Miami son?
Junior, this ain't funny, man. You know, for real, man. How you think I feel, man? Man, I'm getting ready to turn 65 and find out I got a kid.
Hold up. I've seen this joker, and he's not a kid. He got a full beard. You got a grown, bearded man. Come here.
Hello.
Oh, Bernetta, how you doing?
You so crazy. You are
Hey, recognize it when you see it again. That's all I'm telling you.
So what we gonna call you now, Pops number 2? Because we can't call you player no more. Give me your card back. He don't know what you
Every time we come over here, we learn something new. So what's it going to be next time? Now it's a son, but what? Is it going to be a long-lost daughter?
Yeah, a cousin or
To
something.
me, oh, this is crazy, man. Y'all, this is crazy.
No, but are you sure he's your son?
Right.
Man, let me tell you, man. I called Hill as soon as I got in the car, man, on the way home last night.
Okay. And so what did she say?
What she say, huh?
Let's just say I had to pull the car over, man, when she started talking.
Okay, but what did she say?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Man, I blame social media for all this mess right here that I'm going through.
Social media?
Man, you millennials got the game and done messed it all up. Man.
Hold up. You can't blame social media for this. You the one had your face in her book trying to Insta her gram.
You did.
So what you talking about?
Man, let me tell you, man. Hilda told me that Theo had all his friends on Facebook. They doing that ancestry thing, man. And of course, Theo being like Hilda, oh, he's gonna get a genetic test.
Oh.
And he found out that who he thought was taking care of him all these years was his dad. Was not.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Drum roll, please.
So in the case of Uncle Bae Bae and big grown bearded Theo, you are the father.
Uncle Bae Bae, you the daddy. You that boy, Pappy. You know it. You look
See,
just
man,
like it.
You know how they be following you
man.
with the camera when they found out you the father?
It's not funny, man. It's not funny at all. Man.
It's not.
It kind of is.
I'm just saying, you got to admit, I mean, Hilda not telling you all this time that you had a son.
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking. But you'll be all right.
When you gonna
Yeah,
talk
man,
to him?
let me tell you something, man. This is what I'm gonna do, man. I know what I got to do.
Right?
I got to be a father, man. I got to be a father.
Yeah.
And on the good side of it, Man, if he's like his cousins that was raised in this household right here, my job gonna be easy. But I do know Theo probably got plenty of questions for me and about his mama.
You right. And just look on the bright side, huh? At least he old enough to hear and answer your questions. Not too much.
Come in.
Hold on, I'm gonna get.
You gotta worry about tucking him in.
Oh boy, so much.
Hey,
Come on in.
is Mr. Bae available?
Yes, he's available.
Come on in,
Hey.
have a seat.
I decided to come by and drop off your package since you stood me up last night.
Whoa.
God, I'm gonna tell
What
you.
that you talking about last night?
Something came up last night, and I know I should have at least called you.
Well, whatever it was, it must have been real important.
Oh, yeah, it was important, all right. About 30 years of importance.
Yep.
Am I missing something?
Christina, let's just say I found out last night I'm a father.
Hello, this is Pops. I have advanced prostate cancer and I am exploring clinical trial. However, I am also really concerned about my bones. With advanced prostate cancer, I am at a high risk of my bones becoming weak from the disease and from treatments, and this could lead to fractures. Fractures will really reduce my quality of life. The Prostate Health Education Network has information that helps me better understand my bone health and what I need to do to protect my bones. I urge all men with prostate cancer to do like I am doing and learn about their bone health at bonerisk.org.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Crawford. I'm the Director of Clinical Trials and Education at PHEN. I want to introduce you to a new member of our team, Dr. PSA. Now, he's an expert on prostate cancer early detection screening. Dr. PSA will provide men and their loved ones with what they need to know about screening, beginning with what is the prostate and prostate cancer? Why is prostate cancer early detection screening important for Black men? What age should you begin early detection screening? What happens after the first baseline PSA test? What is considered a normal PSA number? What are the potential benefits and risks of early detection screening? What are the signs of prostate cancer? What treatment options are available if diagnosed with prostate cancer? Now, you can use your mobile phone or your computer to visit with Dr. PSA at www.phenpsa.com. And remember, knowledge is your best defense against prostate cancer.
And I just thought with everything that was going on that it was important that I highlight the beauty of Black women. And so I hope that I made my mother proud with this piece. You have a question?
Yeah, can you tell me a little more about this painting here, please?
Well, that piece was inspired by a true story by a young man named George Steeney, some say Steiny. He was accused of killing 2 white girls at the age of 7 and 11. And at the age of 14, he was executed. And I just thought that this piece was important because this story needs to be told to our people so that we understand our history. Excuse me for 1 minute, please. So, what brings you to my gallery? I've never seen you around here before.
Oh, so I'm assuming you know all the ladies who come into your gallery, huh?
No, not at all. I just know if I had seen your face before, I wouldn't have forgot it.
Okay. Well, I'm Pebbles Johnson, but my friends call me PJ.
Is that for the projects or a private jet? I was just trying to figure out.
Oh, you got jokes, I see.
So what kind of piece you looking for?
Well, I'm actually not looking for myself. I'm new in town, and my new boss is looking for a piece up in his office. I was told if I was looking for great things, this was the place to come.
What kind of office?
A doctor's office, Haywood Genetics. You ever heard of it?
Can't say that I have. What's the specialty?
Well, Haywood is the leading molecular diagnostic company dedicated to saving and improving lives by discovering and delivering tests across major diseases. I lost you, huh?
Yeah, you got to break that down for me.
Well, let me break it down. In layman terms, what it pretty much means is that they bring awareness to genetic testing, which in turn has a huge impact on information for potential treatment.
Okay, let's say hypothetically, my father had prostate cancer. We would come there to do further research.
You catching on quick.
Yeah, you know, I do what I can do.
Well, that's actually a perfect scenario. See, genetic testing allows your family members to know what their cancer risks are. So ultimately, it puts you in the lead to know what may or may not be coming your way.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not too big and fond of the clinical trials and research things, but I got a feeling that you could educate me.
Well, let's talk about these paintings first, and then we'll see where that leads us.
All right.
Boy, that made me want to go use the bathroom. Come on out here, man.
I'm confused. How old is your baby?
Christine, I'm not sure. I think maybe about...
Well, I would say, judging by his beard, he's about 30 years old.
Yeah, we're talking about one of his flings from his past.
Mm-hmm.
Big Hip Hilda.
I got jokes about everything, man.
So I guess that's a good reason not to show up. Look, I'm gonna leave this here for you, and maybe we'll talk later or something, you know? Just...
Ooh. Christine, look, I want you to know that I do apologize for what happened. And I do appreciate you understanding my situation. But I do want us to stay in contact with each other. So what I'm saying is, you can call me anytime. Tonight is fine.
Boo, look at him. That's what got you in trouble right now.
So that travel agent nerd was back here again, huh?
Yeah, but don't worry about it. I don't think she's gonna be back.
Well, what? She found out that Bae is a wannabe player.
No, more so like, let me put it like this. You are no longer just Pops. You have a new title now. I think Uncle fits you very well.
What you talking about, Bernetta?
Go on and ask your brother.
Big bruh, Hilda and I, man, Hilda and I, man, we have a...
Use your words.
You have a what?
And we have a son.
Not a S-U-N, a S-O-N.
A whole one.
I guess you're gonna have to take your old ass to work now. That back, front, side to side child support ain't no joke, player.
Oh, really? Kick a brother when he's down. That's what you do. Kick a brother when he's down.
Wait, what'd you say? Double the pleasure, double the fun. How much child support Bae gonna have to pay? A ton! Just look at his face.
He's scared.
Oh my God!
Cheer up,
Man,
player.
y'all joke about everything, man. You know, I just can't take it, man. I need to go clear my head up, man.
It's okay,
God, man.
Come on,
Come on,
Joke
it's
about
okay.
everything. How I get out of here, man?
You need me to open the door for you?
Hello, this is Junior, a member of the Daddy's Boys cast. I'm learning a lot about prostate cancer, and I know just like Pops, men facing prostate cancer struggle with questions about what should they do. Well, the Prostate Health Education Network has developed PHENpath.com to answer your questions and help guide you. If you're newly diagnosed with prostate cancer, facing a reoccurrence, or metastatic disease, use your computer or mobile phone, go to PHENpath.com. You will get your answers and be able to talk to your doctor about treatment decisions.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Crawford. I'm the Director of Clinical Trials and Education at PHEN. I want to introduce you to a new member of our team, Dr. PSA. Now, he's an expert on prostate cancer early detection screening. Dr. PSA will provide men and their loved ones with what they need to know about screening, beginning with what is the prostate and prostate cancer? Why is prostate cancer early detection screening important for Black men? What age should you begin early detection screening? What happens after the first baseline PSA test? What is considered a normal PSA number? What are the potential benefits and risks of early detection screening? What are the signs of prostate cancer? What treatment options are available if diagnosed with prostate cancer? Now, you can use your mobile phone or your computer to visit with Dr. PSA at www.phenpsa.com. And remember, knowledge is your best defense against prostate cancer.
Before you leave, can I be honest with you for a second?
Of course.
Well, you know, when I ask about what if my father had prostate cancer, well, he really does.
Oh, Charles, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I'm not trying to give you a sad story or anything. Just when you said that you work for a genetic testing center, I really want to learn more. I've been afraid to learn, but I need to know what's going on with my father.
I absolutely understand. Let me ask you this. Has anyone else in your family had prostate cancer?
Yeah, my uncle.
I was afraid you were going to say that. You know, 1 in 6 prostate cancers are caused by a genetically inherited mutation, which means something you're kind of born with.
Now you kind of scaring me.
No. Don't be afraid of knowledge. Listen, this isn't the time or place to discuss it. So, how about I set up a consultation for you, your brothers, and your father with a specialist, just so you can get a better understanding of genetic testing and what's going on.
You'll do that for me?
After the treatment I've gotten today, consider it done. Just don't forget to use that card.
Oh, I will.
Well, Pops, how do you feel about becoming an uncle?
Oh, man, I'm still lost for words, man. I really don't know.
And Uncle Bae Bae, a dad?
That's deep. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's deep. But look, Uncle Bae Bae will be all right. Soon as he gets back from his walk, me and him will have a nice long talk over some Bombay.
Woo-wee. You know Bombay always does.
That'll loosen him up.
But you know, Pops, I've been looking at these brochures and do you understand about the clinical trials and the different types?
Well, yeah. Well, you got treatment, you got prevention, you got screening, and then you got supportive and palliative trials.
And you understand all of them?
Yeah, well, treatment, that deals with new vaccine approaches and stuff like that to surgery and radiation therapy, or a combination of all of these.
Sounds like a little bit more detailed than what I thought.
Tell me about it. But look, nothing gets done in this country in medication treatment without clinical trials that's approved by the FDA.
Now hold up, Pops. It says here, it talks about prevention. What about that?
Yeah, well, prevention deals with healthy people who take a look at cancer risk and a way to reduce that risk.
It also says that it's set up in 2-part action study where you're doing something and focus on finding out if they're doing something.
That's right. And 2, to see when the disease is at an early stage, that's done via screening. So that you have a better chance of saving a life.
You know, Pops, I think we could treat your condition as a family condition. You know, that way we can kind of help support the comfort and quality of your life.
Which is supportive and palliative trials.
I see how you did that.
You know how I tied to make a bow. I tied all up.
But I tell you, Pops, ever since my scare with prostate cancer, I've been looking at this thing through a totally different lens. Only thing I got to do now is get my brothers on board. That's going to be a task, but I'm up for it. You know, nothing that ever beat me. Nothing.
Except for Cedric in middle school. He beat you up pretty bad.
Pops, he threw sand in my eye. I couldn't see.
Well, I told you about fighting at the beach. You don't fight nobody at no beach.
Well, listen, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm going over to Chuck's, and I'm going to start now. He gonna get on board. Clinical trial or not, he coming with me.
Hey, Junior, wait.
What's going on, Pops?
I love you, son.
Dang, Pops. I love you too.
Can I get a hug?
What's going on?
What's up, son?
I'm good. I kind of figured I'd find you here.
Man, it's good to see you, man. I'm quite sure you got plenty of questions for me.
I do.
Let's talk.
Did you enjoy that episode of Daddy's Boys? It was great, wasn't it? Hi, I'm Garrett Davis, CEO and founder of G. Davis Productions and Films and the creator of Daddy's Boys. We've got more episodes of Daddy's Boys coming up, but right now, I want you to join Thomas Farrington, the founder and CEO of the Prostate Health Education Network. He's got some special guests, and they're going to talk about this particular episode that you just finished watching. Stay tuned. For more information about Daddy's Boys, go to daddysboys.org.
Today, we're going to focus on genetic testing and the importance of genetic testing for prostate cancer patients. This is a very, very important topic. I think more and more the experts have realized that having genetic information is very important, can make a difference for men along their prostate cancer journey. First, we have Dr. Cohen. Dr. Todd Cohen. Dr. Cohen is the Vice President of Medical Affairs and Medical Director of Urology at Myriad Genetics, who's based in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Tom, I'd like to thank you and PHEN for having me and to be able to discuss genetic testing today. And as you stated, very important, and its importance has only grown over the last several years with our knowledge of how it impacts patients with prostate cancer. In the past, really was thought to be just relevant for breast cancer and a few other types, but has become very important in the realm of prostate. I'd like to talk about this genetic testing as an overview and who, how, and when we test that. So the first question that always comes to mind is, why do we even do genetic testing? And the simple answer to that is, we want to identify mutations or abnormalities in the genes that have implications on cancer. Now, could be the treatment of the cancer, or it could also be on how we follow or how we watch or how closely we watch men, where the treatments may not be appropriate at that point, but may be in the future. Genetic testing is relatively simple. It can be done on blood or saliva, or finally tissues, and that tissue is usually ones that are taken from the initial biopsy that men have, or if they've had surgery, it can be taken from the prostate itself, from the cancer tissue that was there, but it requires specifically cancer tissue. If none of that is available, and the cancer unfortunately has spread someplace, you are able to get some tissue potentially from the areas where the cancer may have spread. The genetic testing provides us with information that's valuable that could definitely impact your treatment in the future. The other thing that genetic testing can do is it can identify family members that may also have the similar or same genetic abnormality that could really specify having the future of prostate cancer, but other cancers like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and even pancreatic cancer. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the future. How common is this? It's relatively common. It's found that about 1 in 6 prostate cancers are caused by inherited, so it's genetic mutations that men are born with. So things that they've carried through their whole life. And we'll talk a little bit more detail about that. So the genetic mutations, every cancer, every single one, starts with a genetic mutation. That mutation makes the cell not respond or grow normally, and it starts to divide uncontrollably, because that's really what cancer is. It's uncontrolled cell growth. So the mutations cause the cancer cells, to lose their ability to grow, and function normally. This can cause a cancer to behave more aggressively in some cases, and it also can affect how a patient may respond to certain specific treatments. There are two ways that mutations occur. There's what we call germline, which is heredity, so these are inherited mutations, but also cancers can occur sporadically, and they can occur because cells become cancerous by developing a mutation that the person is not necessarily born with. And there's specific differences between these two types of mutations. On the germline side, these tests can be relatively simple. This is done again on blood or saliva samples. In some cases, it can be done on tissue, but it's much easier to get blood or saliva samples. These mutations are always inherited, which means that they are found in every single cell of the body, not just in the cancer, but everywhere. They're found and they can be transmitted to future generations as well. These will help guide treatment options, and they'll also provide a risk assessment for your family to see if they're at risk of developing cancers in the future as well. On the other side, there's the somatic mutations. These are tested on the tumor. So you actually have to have the cancer tissue available because that's where the abnormality is. These are not found in every cell of the body, but they're found in every cancer. There's always a mutation. Sometimes we can identify it and sometimes we can't. So these also, just like the germline mutations, can help us guide treatment options, but they don't necessarily give you any information at all regarding your family or the development possibly of other types of cancer. Excuse me. So let's first talk about the somatic test. We know that in metastatic cancer of the prostate, about 28% of men will show, or we can detect, a mutation in those men. So it's relatively high. It's almost 1 in 3 that we can find it. And again, this can impact their medical management in the future. The problem with it is you don't always get enough cancer tissue to identify these mutations, and the failure rates of being able to identify them can be as high as 44%. It's generally lower than that, but it can be that high, which can be frustrating at times that the mutation may be there, you just cannot find it. So the other issues with somatic testing is that mutations can change, is that the original tumor may not have the same mutation as what has developed later on in the disease process. So those mutations can change. The other problem could be if you can't get the cancer tissue from the original biopsy or even the surgical specimen, sometimes you have to do another biopsy, which can be difficult to do or difficult to obtain tissue on. So usually we try not to do a repeat biopsy, especially if it's in the bone or some area that may be difficult to get to or even painful to get. Germline testing, on the other hand, is very simple to get. It's done on blood or saliva samples. It will give you hereditary status, so that's what is inherited and what you've got, from your parents, potentially. It also tells us that there's a risk of additional possible cancers. So if you have a hereditary mutation that is passed along from your parents, there is a possibility that you could be at risk of other cancers. And in men, that could be things like pancreatic cancer. It could be certain types of cancers in the kidney or even colon cancer. These tissue samples can be done at home because with saliva, or if at the doctor's office, again, on a blood sample. So what are the implications of these genetic hereditary germline mutations? Well, we know that from previous studies that men that are found to have a germline mutation are 6 times more likely to die from the prostate cancer within 5 years of diagnosis compared to men that don't have these germline mutations. So it's a very, very more aggressive type of cancer that develops from a germline mutation. We also know that they're 4 times more likely to develop metastasis or spread of their cancers within 5 years of diagnosis as well. So even though they may not die in that time period, they're much more likely to develop a spread of their cancer, again, than men that don't have these types of mutations. So it's important to identify these things because we need to know this to develop the treatment plan for men that have these problems. The implications of the germline mutation. Here we see a family tree. The green shaded are people that are affected. So you can see that if there is a germline mutation present, 50% chance that this will get passed on to the children. And then also, if you go the other way, if a man is affected, let's say here, there's a 50% chance that his children might have a germline mutation. But there's also, if you go the other way, if they're a younger man that this is developed in, there's even a 50% chance that one of his parents has that germline mutation, which could be an implication for developing a cancer even in your parents. We should never forget it's not always passed down, but we know it goes in the opposite direction as well. And this information can be very helpful for family members in identifying cancers earlier and to prevent the problems that these types of cancers can cause. So the question now comes, who do we test? I mean, do we test everybody that has cancer? And we'd like to say yes, we probably should. But right now, we're kind of in that point where, since this is a relatively new finding, especially in prostate cancer, that we're kind of tied to what we can do according to specific guidelines and other issues. So we know that right now, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, that we always can test men that have metastatic prostate cancer. It's important to them because of the immediate treatment implications, drugs that we can use to treat these men. We know that we can test men that have higher risk cancers. And we usually talk in terms of Gleason score to identify these men. And a Gleason score of 8 or higher is usually a high risk type patient. We also can do lower risk men, or men that we say that have intermediate risk, that have certain family history involved. They can be Ashkenazi Jews. They can have another family member that has other types of cancer as well, such as ovarian, pancreatic, or breast. Or they can have 2 family members that have, at any age, and including much older, developed either breast or prostate cancer. So, what else can we do with these men? Well, just recently, it was said that men that can go on to have certain types of treatment options can be tested for specific types of genes. And these are 2 that were most commonly found, which are the breast cancer gene 1 and 2. And although it's called the breast cancer gene, it is the most these are the most common genes that we find that are associated with prostate cancer as well. So we recommend that all men that have these, that we are able to get these tests on, have these germline tests of the BRCA1 and BRCA2, regardless of any of their past family history. So if they're positive, then they can be treated accordingly. Well, if they're not metastatic, they can be followed more closely so they hopefully won't develop any problems. And if they are metastatic, then we can have certain treatments that are available